I spent 22 years as an assistant coach before I ever became a head coach. And the coaches I respected most in those 22 years, it was never the guy with the best playbook. Here's what actually separated the coaches from the leaders. Hey, I'm Coach Bob Herb. 30 years coaching, 22 as an assistant, 8 as a head coach. And if there's one thing 3 decades on the coaching staff taught me, it's this. Knowing the game and leading people are 2 completely different skills. Most programs only train you in one of them. Today, I'm going to talk about the other one, the one that actually determines whether your program lasts. Here's what nobody tells you when you start coaching. You get trained on the X's and O's constantly. Clinics, coaching certifications, film study, off-season coaching schools, all of it's built to make you sharper on the game itself. Bunt coverages, pitch counts, route trees, blitz packages, and that matters. I'm not knocking it, but in 22 years as an assistant coach, watching head coach after head coach up close, I noticed something. The coaches who got the most out of their players and staff weren't always the smartest tacticians in the room. They were the ones who understood people. And almost nobody teaches that part. You're expected to just kind of figure it out. I want to tell you about the man who taught me the difference, because he did it without ever giving me a lecture on leadership at all. His name was Coach Carl Keller, and I was an assistant on his staff for 2 decades. Carl knew the game, most likely better than anyone else around, but that's not what made him different. What made him different is that he made sure his coaches were seen, not just tolerated as the assistant, not just handed drills to run and stayed in their lane. He made sure other coaches, administrators, parents, everybody knew that his coaches mattered to that program. He credited us in front of the team. He bring us into decisions instead of just handing them down. He treated our opinions on the game like they carried real weight, even when we were young and still learning. Here's why that mattered so much. As an assistant, you can feel invisible really easily. You put in the same hours as the head coach, early mornings, film at night, miss dinners with your own family. It's easy to feel like none of that gets seen because the name on the front of the program isn't yours. Coach Keller never let us feel that way. 22 years, and I still think about how he did that because it's the reason I stayed as long as I did, and it's the reason I trusted him completely. That's leadership. That's not a play call. That's not a decision made over and over to make people around you feel like they matter, not just like they're useful. Here's the trap a lot of coaches fall into, and I fell into it when I first became a head coach after those 22 years as an assistant. You think that if you just call the right plays and win enough games, the leadership part takes care of itself. It doesn't. I watched brilliant tacticians lose locker rooms. I've watched coaches who could diagram a defense better than anybody in the district lose their best assistants because those assistants never felt like Coach Keller made us feel. Seen, respected, brought in. X's and O's win you a game on Friday nights. They don't build a program that lasts 20 years. People do that. And people only stay and only give you everything they've got when they feel like the coach actually leads them, not just manages them. This is exactly the gap Coach Paul Weinheimer and I built the CARE framework to close, because I don't think leadership should be something you either luck into, like I did with Coach Keller, or never learn at all. CARE stands for compete with character, acquire an attitude of gratitude and greatness, respect and responsibility, and engage everything enthusiastically. What Coach Keller did for me, making sure I was seen, bringing me into the room, giving credit where it was earned, that's respect and responsibility in action. He carried the responsibility of making sure the people under him felt valued, not just used. That's the piece most coaching education skips entirely. You'll get a clinic on defense. You won't get a clinic on how to make your assistant coach feel like they matter. Paul and I try to build that here in this book. So if you're a head coach right now, here's my challenge to you. Think about your X's and O's for a minute. You've probably got that part handled, or you're working on it constantly, I'm sure. Now, ask yourself the harder question. Does everyone on my staff feel the way Coach Keller made his coaches feel? Would they say you see them? Would they say you make sure they're respected, not just used? If you're not sure, that's worth sitting with, because I promise you your assistants know the answer even if you don't. If this video made you think about a coach who did this for you, or made you think about whether you're doing it for your own staff right now, I want to hear about it in the comments. Who was your Coach Keller? And if you want a fast way to check your program out and actually see where it stands, not just on the field, but on staff culture and leadership, I built the free program health checklist available on the ACSN digital store. 16 quick questions across the 4 areas that make or break a program. 10 minutes with your staff, and you'll know exactly where to focus. The link's in the description below. Subscribe if it hits home with you. I'll keep sharing what 30 years on a coaching staff taught me, the lessons I learned the hard way, and the ones I got to learn from people like Coach Keller. See you in the next one.